Welcome to part 3 of the Luthier Slayer series on the GazzBass Falcon Bellissimo Series 2 Franco di Donato signature bass guitar. In this part we're going to be looking at the beginnings of the electronics. We're also going to be looking at beginning to cut and shape the neck, route out the truss rod channel, all that good stuff. And I'm still pissed off at Hip Shop for not sending me my bridge on time. They gave me a delivery date and it's not here yet, and it's past the delivery date, so I guess I gotta wait. Look, there's big storms in this country up north, and that's where all the major parcel hubs are in the country, so just gotta wait. Like I said, I have the technical drawings, so I'm going to go off their drawings. And if their drawings are wrong, I will be most cross with them. But anyway, let's go and have a look at see what we can do in this episode, right? So what's going on now? Okay, like I said, I made the carves. I made the comfort carve here. You can see it's nice light. That's the comfort carve, and the belly carve, as so called, which is on the side of the base there. There you go. There's the carve there. It's always a special shape on the Falcon, and that's where they join right there. So, what's the next step? Well, for those of you who have followed me and my escapades, the next step is sanding, and then sanding, and then sanding. But before I do that, I'm going to template this body up, because I'm now totally happy with the shape, and I've already started on templating it. Here's my template there, fits right on top of that, and of course I've gone slightly proud on it, of course, you know. So the template's slightly proud, and I'll sand all that down, and then I'll mark out the locations of everything on it once the base is finalised. And then I'll have a complete template to really quickly bang, knock up a body real quick of the GazzBass Falcon Bellissimo Series 2 Franco di Donato signature model. So, just in case Franco wants any more. Anyway, so I'm going to go on and get on with this sanding. I don't suppose you want to hear the sander going? No? Okay. Catch you later. So, what have we got going on here now? Okay, the body has now got its basic shape. Okay, it is now sanded down all over to 220 grit. Now I have made up the pickup rings, which will go here. I've already pre-punched location holes here, so roughly here and here. So it's going to sort of look like that. These are maple. They're absolutely beautiful. I love these maple pickup rings. I also make the walnut pickup rings as well. They're awesome. So that's how that's going to look. We'll set them aside just now. The next stage with this is oak, okay? And for the first time, I am going to paint this oak. But like I said, it's going to be a solid white, translucent white sunburst. Only one tone, not two tone, which is unusual for a sunburst, of course. And also this centre strip here is going to be stained walnut, dark walnut, so you get a really strong contrast between the maple here and the poplar here and walnut stripe there with the beautiful chrome silver lipstick pickups coming through. It's going to look spectacular. But before I do that, I'm going to go through another sanding to 320 grit, and another sanding to 400 grit, and then another sanding to 800 grit to get the surfaces really flat. Now, since this is oak and it's going to be painted, oak has open pores and open grain, as you can see. So in order to take paint properly, I'm going to have to put a grain filler on it first. And the grain filler is going to take about 48 hours overall. I have a fast drying water-based grain filler. Let me go and pull that out for you. I should have had that prepared before I shot this segment, but I'll show you the stuff I'm going to be using. Okay, here's what we're going to use. Going to use this Crystal Lac wood grain filler, water-based. Now, grain filler has microscopic little, like tiny little marbles inside it, little spheres. Okay, and what happens when you apply the grain filler, which is like a thick putty, you apply it, and what happens is these microscopic spheres go into the grain and fill the grain. So it does exactly what it says. I'm going to need 2 to 3 coats on oak to fill the grain properly. And after that, it'll all get sanded down again to 800, and then I will put this Crystal Lac sanding sealer on it, and then that will dry. So by, let's say, what's this? This is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. By about Tuesday next week, in about 5 or 6 days' time, it's going to be ready to paint. You know, it's going to be ready to get a finish on it of some sort. So we're going to attempt to do the white sunburst, right? And that will take quite a while to dry. Then after that, we're going to put a clear coat on it, water-based polyurethane coat. And then after that, it'll be, you know, the usual wet sanding, you know, polish, wet sanding, polish, and then a final buffing, and that will be the body done. In the meantime, while this is all drying and stuff, I can get started on the neck and make the neck while the body's actually drying, because the paint, it's only, you know, it's single coat, wait for it to dry, and build up these coats very gradually. Okay, so you don't get any runs, you don't get any high spots. You got to be really patient with it. So that's actually the longest process. That's why I usually don't paint the woods, because I love the natural look of the wood to come through. But Franco has his heart set on a white sunburst, so that's what he's going to get. He's going to get white sunburst, and yeah, we'll go with that. When I get this down to 800, this will be stained. The centerpiece will be stained here, okay? And then left to dry, then the grain filler put on it. So a lot of work ahead, and just to let you know, I'm still waiting for the hip shot headless bass system to come in. I had to order it from Spain, from España. Crazy, right? You know why? Because Hipshot don't seem to have it in stock, and they look like they've been hit hard by COVID, so I had to look to a European dealer to get the part I wanted. So that's going to get shipped across to me. It should be here next week sometime, but that's okay, because that's when I'll be ready to paint, and I'll have time to make any alterations I need to make. However, I did get the technical drawings for it, and I should be fine. It should just plop right in there. Okay, so let's get on with the sanding, and the sanding, and the sanding, and the grain filler, and the sanding, and the grain filler, and the grain filler, and the sanding, and then the sanding sealer, sand, sanding sealer, sand, sanding sealer, sand. There's a bunch of processes to go through now. Okay, awesome. Okay, as you can probably tell from the noise, I've been doing a lot of sanding. The whole body now is down to 400 grit. 400. And it's starting to feel quite smooth. In fact, very smooth, as you would imagine, down to that grit. But before I go to the 800, the 600 and the 800, what I do now is give it a little alcohol wash. It brings grain up a little bit, opens the pores up a little bit, so when I sand it back down I know I'm getting really flat. Plus it looks nice to see the grain pop, you know. But this one's getting painted, so you know. So what we do is take our old drag and pour a bunch of alcohol onto it, and let's get into those pores. And that's it. Just keep going like that. You run out. A little bit more. Be generous with this. Just be generous with the alcohol. Get it in there. And this releases all the trapped sanding sawdust type stuff as well, which keeps the surface pure. Just look at that grain pop. Wow, that looks really good. It's nice. That piece of oak here. Now, the final two sanding stages are coming up. We'll turn it over, and we'll do the same thing on that side. This cloth is clean. Once I've done all that, we'll get sanded down to 600, then 800, and then we'll get another alcohol wash, another 800 sanding, then a good cleaning of the body, and then it will be ready for first the centre piece to be stained and left to dry, and after that the grain filler will be applied. So let's go for it. Okay, everything is down to 800 grit now. I don't know if you can see in this light, but the wood itself is starting to take on a sheen because it's so smooth and flat, except for the grains, of course, which will be getting filled anyway. But the next thing is just to buff it up. Just buff the wood up and get it nice and spotless so that we're all happy. Just use a hand buffer with that, with a nice this soft pad on it, not the medium pad on it. This nice soft fluffy pad. And let's go. Okay, I'm going to continue doing that. You can see it coming up really shiny now, and it feels like glass to touch. I'm going to continue doing that. The next step will be to mask off all these pieces here so that I can get to the middle part to stain it, and then we've got to wait for the stain to dry before I'll sand that part a little bit, and then we start with the grain filler. Awesome. Okay, the centre piece of oak, which is straddled by poplar, not popular, or straddled by popular demand. Sorry, that's an awful broken bad taste. It's going to get a dark walnut stain on it. And this is going to be the last thing I probably do to the body today, because it's going to have to dry overnight. So as you see, I've put some painter's tape on here, and I've left a tiny, tiny bit of poplar showing, maybe like 1/3 of a millimetre, and that's so that it will take some stain there and show up as a slightly different colour. It'll be like a pinstripe going down there. I think I mentioned that in the first video, but that's going to be my attempt. And if it doesn't work, no harm, no foul. It just sands off, or it can be restained, so there's no problems there. I put down the painter's tape with a pencil eraser so that I don't get any bleed through into the poplar, and I shouldn't anyway. So that's really on there. Get my handy dandy horsehair brush, get rid of all the debris on there. I don't want anything on there. Okay, nothing on there. Okay, put that to the side. These are great for just general purpose instrument cleaning anyway. They've always been a favourite of mine. Okay, next I have about 10 pounds in weight of this material here. It's like a t-shirt, a soft t-shirt grade material, which is completely lint free actually, this stuff. So I screw this up like that. I get my dark walnut stain, put the cloth in it, and not too much to start with. Just want to see how this goes on. There you go. It's going into the pores very well. You see how that's standing out already? Try go with the grain, don't go against it. You'll end up with scour marks and smears and stuff like that. Try this bit. As you see, I'm not getting any run from it because I'm putting it on very thin, and hopefully I won't get any bleed through by doing that. Another coat, I think, and a little heavier this time. I'm just going to sort of smudge it on. Then once the cloth gets dry of stain, you can then blend it. You can even do that if you like. I did a video once of me just doing that and then blended it in. It's very forgiving. Don't worry about that. The bridge is going to go on there. And actually I will finish this part just because I know it's there, you know. And I'll stain it all dark walnut actually. So I'm going to mask off this region and put some dark walnut and then just stain it. So I'm not bothered at all about any runoff into here in my work. Now, as you can see there, there's the pools of stain lying. So what we do is pick a clean bit of cloth, yeah, and just blend it in. It'll lighten up somewhat, of course. Get it all similar colour, you know. You don't want it all blotchy and stuff. This is going to go really, really well, I think, with the colour scheme that Franco has picked, which is the solid white to translucent white sunburst down to like maybe the poplar there, and that's going to look really going to stand out, stick out in stark contrast to the rest of the base and give it a beautiful contrast. So we want it to look striking, we don't want it to look bland, you know. So I'll just continue with this, and then when I come back this will be done. The bridge seat will be done, and we'll go on with the grain filling. Good times. Okay, we are 2.5 hours into drying now, and I removed the tape. Why did I remove the tape? Because you're unlikely to get bleeding into the next wood after, oh thanks guys, after 2 hours of drying with this particular stain that I use. Now you can see there, I don't know if you can see, let me sort of zoom into it near the neck there. Is that about central? God, my camera work needs real working into. Yeah, see that? I've got like a trim line or a pencil line or a pinstripe now. And that was because I put the tape very slightly into the poplar so I could allow a little bleed through on a very sharp edge. So it looks like there's pinstripes there. There's slight discoloration in the poplar there, that's imperfections in the wood, which gives it character. That's a knot there, a knot. I'm pointing out all the knots. You probably can't see my hand because I'm zoomed in so closely. So it looks fantastic. Now this has to dry now. I'll zoom back out a bit and show you. Right here is where the bridge is going to sit recessed. According to the technical drawings by Hipshot, who are actually sending me the bridge. Awesome! It's going to be here like in like 8 days or something. But that's good. All the prep work will be done. The neck will be made by then. I'll be ready to paint anyway, so that's not knocking my schedule off at all. I'm sure Franco will be glad to hear that. He's working on a new album right now, and you know, he wants to use my bass on it. So, or his bass, I should say. So, you know, marks are still there. Everything looks beautiful. I love the way the poplar has those slight imperfections in it, and this is going to get a frosted coating. It's going to look frosty, but this is going to go bam, bam. It's going to stick out right in your face. Yes, and the neck is going to be something special as well. So I'm going to be setting this aside. My dual action low profile truss rod is coming in tomorrow, and because I'll be making an ultra thin neck. Ooh, sounds dangerous, doesn't it? Well, it's not really if you use rock maple. Use rock maple. It's extremely hard to bend, and with a truss rod in there, it's not going to bend at all. Unless you adjust the truss rod, then it will bend, because that's what truss rods are for, even with rock maple. So, when I feel this wood now, it's very glossy feeling. So I'm absolutely sure this is the right grit to sand this down to before I start putting grain filler in it. And of course, the grain filler really is to get an even surface so you can paint it or finish it easily. So I'm going to be masking the centerpiece off and leave this kind of textury. So it's going to look really elegant. I'm looking forward to it. So anyway, catch you in a bit. Hey, so at this moment in time, I'm running a bunch of experiments because there's some nice little detail experiments I want to do and try out based on the specifications that Franco gave me for this beautiful bass that we're creating. So while I'm waiting on things drying and all that stuff that these experiments require, let's go and finish off the control cavity plate. That's something that we can do. There's a lot of other things that we can be busy doing while we're waiting on things dry. I would have started the neck today, but the truss rods haven't arrived yet. They should be in today at some point. I need the truss rods on hand just to check dimensionally everything is correct. So let's go and get the control cavity on the router table. Okay, let's do that. Excuse me. So here's our blank stuck to our template, and we're just going to bevel it using the bevel piece in the router on the router table, and then we'll tidy up the edges afterwards because it might be a little rough, it might not be, we might get lucky, you know. Okay, headphone wearers, beware. does that. Nice beveled edge there. Protective film still on it, so it didn't get scraped. Now comes the difficult part, is getting the template off of the piece, because it's stuck down fast with double-sided tape. So I'm going to take this off and we'll go size it up. Okay then, we're done on the router table, as you just saw. Very short, very quick operation. And here's the beveled edge we have, and we can see that in this light. You can see it there though. You'll see the black trim. This is 4-ply pickguard material with mother of pearl finish. So let's put it in place. It's going to go about here, and that looks fantastic. It really does. Hold on. Yeah, it's beginning to look very nice. And if I get the pickup rings, they're in their baggy. I always put things back in their baggy. Get some the pickup rings here to just show you how that looks. And we're go about there. This one will go about here. So, you know, it's beginning to look a lot like a bass guitar. And I just need minimal tidy up on this. The router table did a fantastic job on it. So a little bit on the edges there, but that's not even a file. That's light sandpaper that will shape that. So I'm really happy with that. It's going to look spankingly fantastic. It really is. I've got that covered there. Oh wow, yeah, I've got lots of room. This is great. This is really good. Yeah. So we'll get this on the drill press, I think, next. After I tidy it up, and we'll drill the control holes. Great. Well, here we are at the drill press. The template is affixed to the face of the piece that I'm going to be working on. I've done one hole already, and the good thing about the template is it stops any chatter of the drill bit as it's going through the mother of pearl and the plastic backing. That way you get a nice clean hole, hopefully. Don't quote me on that. Okay, so let's go and do the rest of the holes and let's see what we come up with. You can see that okay, can you see that? That's cool. Always size it up first, don't try and be a smart ass and do them all really quickly. Clean out any garbage before each hole is drilled. There you go. Garbage. Last one. Look at that, beautifully clean through the back there, and on the front there they'll be beautifully clean as well. Actually I missed one, what a dick. Anyway, let's go for it. always pays to inspect your work, you know. Okay, so there we go. Isn't that nice and clean and crisp and crunchy and yummy? So let's take that off. See, just a couple of pieces of double-sided tape there, and there we are. Beautiful. It's beautiful. And there's room there for my logo if Franco wants it there. I would like to have my logo there. Franco's getting a very special logo done for him, and I'll reveal that when I get to it. Okay, cool. Okay, so what are we doing here? Well, let's keep this mask on just now. We're shaping the neck heel right now. As you can see, the neck looks like it's going to have a headstock, right? No. That's going to go away. We're shaping this part here, the heel of the neck. Let's go and see if it's fitting. I'm going to move the camera now. Oh, pretty safe now. I'm going to move the camera to show you. Let's see if it fits. I haven't tried it yet, so I might not be publishing this part of the video. We'll see. Okay. Alright, let's put this here. And let's pan this down so you can see the body there. Yep, there's the body. Alright, now put my glasses on, because like Velma from Scooby-Doo, I can't see without my glasses. So, oh my god, that's tight. Oh, oh, oh. There you go. I'd say that's a perfect fit. I'm not even holding it. That's absolutely bang on perfect. There's a couple of little bevels in there I need to get rid of, but that's about it. It's, oh my god, it's, oh, yep. So as you can see, I'll just pan down a little bit here. There you go. Everything looking good. Neck is fitting. And I just, to ease this, I want to just ease this out now because I might spoil the popper in there. Let's just ease it out. And there you go. That's how you do it. And all that was I bandsawed the neck out by hand. I got all the dimensions correct first. Bandsawed it out by hand. Alright. And then used the sanding table to smooth that out. Now I can feel bumps on there still. But you know what? Those will get hand sanded out. I'm not using a machine to do that. I'm going to hand sand it. There is some excess wood here, and I'm going to keep some excess on that until Hipshot send me the bloody bridge that I've been waiting on. Alright? So, I mean, the rest of it is really quick once that... Oh, thanks guys. I love you too. The rest of it's really quick to do once I get that part in, so it's not going to delay me any. But this is all going to get hand sanded. See, look, the label's still on the maple. It's that fine. Anyway, so let's go on to the next. That's it for part 3. I'm glad you can join me. This is such a beautiful build so far. Very interesting. And Franco is just a fountain of creative ideas, and he's given me a lot of stuff to think about and is improving my skill set as we go. So that's, hey, win-win, right? So, until next time, till part 4. Have a great time everyone. Be safe. Be good. And I'll see you next time. Cheers. Bye-bye.